also that if he happens to be destroyed by this particular power, right, he is going to plague the conscience of those corrupt people, saying that because they decided to use fraud and lies and injustices, I'm going to be in their mind when I come back to myself. Like I'm gonna be in their mind, and if I'm in their mind, that means I have the ability to teach them other things. Right? You and I are members, so this is information that was new to me when I found the information. Right? Rabbi Arnold Josiah Ford, April 23rd, 1877 to September 16th, 1935, was the first quote-unquote black rabbi in America and a prominent member of Harlem's black Jews. As composer of many UNIA songs, Ford co-authored the Universal Ethiopian Anthem with Benjamin E. Burrell. Ford officially functioned as director of the UNIA Band Orchestra, Band of the African Legion, and the Liberty Hall Choir. Ford was a luminary in the Universal Negro Improvement Association. Rabbi Ford offered Hebrew lessons and religious instruction to a number of lay people and clergy in the Harlem area. Ford worked with both Matthew's Commandments Keepers congregation and the Moorish Zionist congregation, who's on the wall right there. The first one. Right? In 1930, he and a small group of black Jews went to Ethiopia, where they participated in the coronation of Emperor Haile Selassie, created a school, and acquired 800 acres of land for the purpose of uniting black Jews of the diaspora with their brothers already in Ethiopia. He died there in 1935. So for those of the Rastafarian movement, Jews are who are from Ethiopia, not Rastafarians. That's why, way back in 1930, they were given land in Ethiopia. And Rastas are fighting about Shashamani and all this stuff. When all you have to do is say that you're a black Jew. There's land there ready for you since 1930. And if they already got the land based on them claiming to be what they really are, not some fiction, because you just want to belong to something, and then not even know about the brother who was a Moor, who lived with 1930. Wasn't that the same time as the coronation? Mm-hmm. So doesn't that mean that when they went there, he would have been in his highest stature when they went there? But even Rastafarians moved. Why won't we think about Rabbi Arnold all the time? And then based on his head wrap, you know that he's a Moor. And then he has his tassel right there. Like sometimes they had it underneath, and then sometimes they just wore their head wrap, and with the tassel come off. So the tassel come off to distinguish that I'm not an Arab.
Yeah.
So I'm not one of these, you know, sheiks or whatever walking around here, you know. Like I'm one. Right? UNIA members, Wentworth Arthur Matthews, founded the Commandment Keepers Congregation in Harlem in 1919. Matthew was influenced by the white Jews he met and by Marcus Garvey and the Universal Negro Improvement Association. One of the accomplishments of Garvey's movement was to strengthen the connection between black Americans and Africa, Ethiopia in particular. And when Matthew learned about the Beta Israel, or the Ethiopian Jews, he identified with them. The congregation is featured in a scene from the 1970 motion picture, The Angel Levine, which starred Harry Belafonte and Zero Monster. So once again, people who are members of the UNIA, who were not Christian or Orthodox or whatever, or they were Jews and Moors. And that's what they were. They weren't black people, they were colored people, they weren't African American, they weren't Negro, they were Jews. And then he has your complexion. And he says that he's a Jew. And that there's people who say that they're Jew that don't look like you. So he can say that he's a Jew. The Messiah considered what European Americans did to the Negro a crime to the black race, and called for a united front against the disenfranchisement, lynchings, and other disrespect for the race as a whole. Messiah Marcus Garvey visited Toronto in 1924 to establish a branch of the Universal Negro Improvement Association. Barred from entering the United States, Garvey attempted to implement in Montreal and in Hamilton. During October 1928, he went to visit UNIA branches but was blocked by immigration authorities. In 1937, however, he held a regional UNIA conference in Toronto and was principal of the summer school in African philosophy in Toronto, and visited Nova Scotia and New Brunswick. So Marcus Garvey's been here. And Marcus Garvey founded a school here. And Marcus Garvey was using Toronto as a quote-unquote meeting place for his UNIA conventions. But when you go to the school system here, which I graduated out of, I didn't hear about Marcus Garvey in high school. Like, he wasn't even mentioned in high school. And I was like,
80s.
like late 80s.
Yeah.
You know,
Beginning of 90s.
all Christopher Columbus. All Christopher Columbus discovered 1492.
Darwin theory.
Darwin theory, and, you know what I mean? Socrates and Plato and Aristotle, and that's all we got in school. Because that's what that is. That's a brainwashed camp, where they take away your knowledge of self. And they take away Marcus Garvey and then they put Darwin in there. And they talk about Darwin like they should be talking about Marcus Garvey. And in them doing that, subconsciously, that makes Darwin stand out more than Marcus Garvey. Just for the simple fact that they're using the time to talk about Darwin, to talk about Darwin, or talk about Christopher Columbus or whoever that has nothing to do with us. That's why when the Moor Science Temple came about, they had a school in there. And then in the school, you would learn about your history. So, just for school's sake, there's a chapter in the Circle 7 talking about Egypt, the capital empire of the Dominion of Africa. And that's chapter 47. The inhabitants of Africa are the descendants of the ancient Canaanites from the land of Canaan. Old man Cush and his family are the first inhabitants of Africa who came from the land of Canaan. His father Ham and his family were second. Then came the word Ethiopia, which means the demarcation line of the dominion of Amexo, the first true and divine name of Africa. The dividing of the land between the Father and the Son. The dominion of Cush, northeast and southeast Africa, and northwest and southwest was the Father's dominion of Africa. In later years, many of their brethren from Asia and the Holy Lands joined them. The Moabites from the land of Moab, who received permission from the pharaohs of Egypt to settle and inhabit northwest Africa, they were the founders and the true possessors of the present Moroccan Empire, with their Canaanite, Hittite, and Amorite brethren who sojourned from the land of Canaan seeking new homes. Their dominion and inhabitation extended from northeast and southwest Africa, across the great Atlantis, even onto the present North, South, and Central America, also Mexico and Atlantis Islands, before the great earthquake, which caused the great Atlantic Ocean. The river Nile was dredged and made by the ancient pharaohs of Egypt in order to trade with surrounding kingdoms. Also, the Niger River was dredged by the great pharaoh of Egypt in those ancient days for its trade, and it extends eastward from the river Nile, westward across the Atlantic. It was used for trade and transportation. According to all true and divine records of the human race, there is no Negro, black, or colored race attached to the human family, because all the inhabitants of Africa were and are of the human race and descendants of the ancient Canaanite nation from the Holy Land of Canaan. What your ancient forefathers were, you are today without doubt or contradiction. There is no one who is able to change man from the descendant nature of their forefathers unless his power extends beyond the great universal creator Allah himself. These holy and divine laws are from the Prophet Noble Ali, the founder of the Uniting of Moorish Science Temple of North America. These laws are to be strictly preserved by the members and all the temples of the Moorish Holy Temple of Science, Temple of America. They that will learn to open their meeting and guide it according to the principles of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Every subordinate temple of the Grand Major Temple is to form under the covenant of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, and create their own laws and customs, in conjunction with the laws of the Holy Prophet and the Grand Temple. I, the Prophet Noble Ali, was sent by the great God Allah to warn all the Asiatics of America to repent from their sinful ways before the great and awful day which is sure to come. The time has come when every nation must worship under its own vine and fig tree, and every tongue must confess his own. Through sin and disobedience, every nation has suffered slavery due to the fact that they honored not the creed and principles of their forefathers. That is why the nationality of Moors was taken away from them in 1774, and the word Negro, black, and colored was given to the Asiatics of America, who were the Moorish descendants, because they honored not the principles of their mother and father, and strayed after the gods of Europe, of whom they knew nothing. Now, just to note